Choosing American culture over martial arts lessons means that one is not a true martial artist, and right away they can be disqualified from the idea of being a respectable martial artist, much less the top. Covert drugging is definitive, okay? Is this psych med in my fucking head? Is national security, Kissinger and the National Security Council, do they not exist? Perhaps the State Department doesn't exist. Perhaps California's history of eugenics does not exist. Perhaps COINTELPRO never happened. You're a fucking moron if you think that they're not drugging me so that they can look good and I can sound like a babbling, bumbling idiot. You are a fucking moron if you do not connect that to Babylon's mysteries. How do you get people to babble on? You use drugs, pharmakeia, the word for sorcery, pharmaceuticals. You're a fucking moron if you don't connect that to problems with the eye, light sensitivity, and photophobia, which on record are side effects of Depakote and other pharmaceuticals. You're an idiot if you think that they don't do that to sabotage people like me, to make them less impressive, and to take away from their physique and mystique. Physician, physics, do the fucking math. Clumsy, lame versus sexy. Clumsy versus sexy. If you're a eugenicist, you want to use psych meds to make people less focused and more clumsy. But even now, with my headache to some degree, as I focus and overcome the effects of their covert drugging, when I really want to, I can focus. But for how long? Before I get a headache as a result of their drugs. Certainly in combat, I can do this damn near indefinitely. But when you're drugged, you get headaches. When you're drugged, you feel a reduced sense of belonging and sensing, right? You don't sense as well. Your feelings are reduced. Think about how ecstasy affects the feelings. Alcohol, marijuana. When you smoke weed, does anybody say, hey, you cannot judge how good that weed is to you? Or is it something that we all know? Hey, when they take drugs, we can tell, hey, this is potent, this isn't. You're an idiot if you think one could be mistaken about that without being so fucking insane that they couldn't truly do martial arts, not to the level that I can, much less do this right here. You fucking morons can't tell the difference between a crazed, schizophrenic, homeless person and the top martial artist? No time for that kind of stupidity. Clumsy, big brute versus refined, surgical, sexy. Skywalking to create the strike. Okay? Outmaneuvering motherfuckers. Just that movement right there in this reduced state should make it crystal clear to you. And yes, I'm fucking serious. Yes, I'm the top. Yes, I'm cultivating righteous indignation while they're cultivating avoidance and conformity. They might be the best at retreating and keeping themselves alive when the real men do the fighting, but they will never be the top. And if there is no one like me around, there aren't any martial artists, much less a top one, much less somebody who's suited to lead. What are you, fucking stupid? How could you not understand that? Disgraceful, dishonorable, pathetic, pitiful. It goes back to sensing, sensible. Being able to sense when something is pitiful. Americans don't seem to be able to do that. There becomes a point where it is so pitiful that you don't want any part of it. That's called honor. That's called knowing where the point is. Women are not capable of true admiration. That's what we see. That's what they become. They may as well all be on a high dose of these things. How much substances they consume, how much psychology they use. You don't really need to be on any substances if you're on a high dose of psychology, so to speak. You're out of touch. You're an actor in a movie channeling an idea. How the fuck do you know about anything? That's also why psychiatrists aren't qualified to diagnose anyone. They're acting. They're out of touch with reality. One thing that I used to do to kind of help me understand is I would go like this. And my ability to gracefully do it would help me see where I'm at. And right now, I am drugged to a certain extent. But when I focus, I still have an ability to focus, just not with the same hawk grace. Right? And it also has to do with a woman's touch. When they take away from the admiration of potential wives, by making women dumb bitches who are unreceptive, who aren't willing to stand by a hero against all odds, who make arguments that reflect that they would side with Lex Luthor if he's killing everybody over a sick Superman, over a persecuted Superman. I have no time for that kind of cowardice. I have no time for, I don't want to waste my time on people that can't even understand that no matter how crazy you think someone is, that if their argument is more logical than yours, you need to accept that. There's no way around that. If somebody's more honorable than the next person, he's more qualified to lead. I don't care how smart and how in touch with reality you think these people are. If they have no honor, if they can't concede my point, if they've created a nation with hundreds of millions of people that are unreceptive to honor, certainly it is the deluded, sick place to be. Buddhism hinders their ability to recognize because they're internalizing things. They're in a moon temple state of mind where they're internalizing things. They're not addressing, they're not facing these things. They are clearing their mind and they're honing their senses in a way where they internalize things. And then they're trying to move the energy in a way that makes them positive. At the end of the day, you have somebody who's complicit with what seems to be a positive energy. How is this good for humanity? How is kind of, oh, hi, how are you doing? Pretending like everyone's not a sicko. Pretending you're not serving a sicko in your restaurant. How's that good for humanity? Pretending you're not training a sicko on how to fight and how to come to, be at peace with their despicable complicity. How is that not bad for society? They pushed me toward arguments to be said flat out in a way that they would say is racial supremacy. Okay? To say that one group of people is more spiritual than another is just what you would expect. Cultures create various degrees of shallowness. Okay? Who created Western culture? Was it the most respectable of the African martial artists? Was it the followers of Horus? Or were they reacting to the followers of Horus? When people react and start acting petty and materialistic with a sexualized consumer society, they're reproducing people and they're insisting on this. On top of that, not only are they reproducing in that direction, they've gone to great lengths to scientifically control reproduction through eugenics, biodemography as a means to understand how biology and physiology relates to demographics. Don't you see? These social Darwinists have stopped at nothing to propagate their hegemonic activities and their cultural imperialism, their ideas of ethnocentrism and racial supremacy. When we look at Indians, for example, right? Their traditionalism, is this not a barrier between women and martial artists? Because you're a traditionalist, why should you date some fucking computer nerd with no heart who's complicit with the New World Order? Why shouldn't you say, hey, fuck that, I reject that? You talk about karma at the same time, but you can't put one and one together. You think you're more intelligent than me, but you don't understand that not to act is as much of an act as to act, and it's an act of cowardice when you don't defy those sickos. How could you not see that? If you believe you come back to earth, why would you put your family over the principles of good? Why? Who could do such a thing? You want to come back to a planet where everyone's an evil, despicable dog that puts their families over the right thing when your children are just going to return anyway? That's what you believe? The more you believe that you're held accountable, the more despicable it is for you to be immoral, for you not to stand with me, for you to reject the most logical way to be righteous. It becomes extremely pathetic and despicable. What I'm doing becomes a great service to humanity, to the wise, and an insult to the immature, childish, I want my toy, my toy, my toy, my toy. I'll kill all of you if you don't make me look good. That's bitch shit. How could you not see that that's bitch shit? You fucking betas. So let's look at the consequences.